Next game up, we're looking at the Colts versus the Jaguars. One of the more disgusting games on this week. Jaguars, who are clearly tanking in this season. I'm not expecting them to be highly competitive at all, versus the Colts, who are looking to be on the up and up. So obviously, big changes to the Colts this year. Finally get to see the debut of what it looks like with Phillip Rivers in this offense, and their new offensive weapons in Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman. There's a lot going on here with the Colts and the Jaguars, obviously trading away Leonard Fournette. Interesting situation there. Let's see how we think this one is going to play out. Now, Vegas has this game as a 45.5 over-under, with the Colts winning by 8. So that gives us an implied point total of about 27-19. Last year, the Colts were below average in all of the defensive categories, which, they add, some to their defensive line. Should be a little bit better on defense this year. And then the Jaguars basically losing every single piece possible, losing Jalen Ramsey last year, losing Jonathan Ngakoue. Like, they don't have any of the all-stars that they had in their magical 2017 run. So this is going to be a pretty crappy defense. And again, for a team they were expecting to tank, I don't think the Colts are going to have any problem maintaining their dominance in this game. The Colts, we saw their philosophy last year of the way that they want to win games. Last year when they beat the Chiefs early on in the season, that is Frank Reich's philosophy. He wants to control the game. He wants to win it through maintaining time of possession, grinding the clock down by keeping a dominant run game and keeping you on your toes with guys like T.Y. Hilton, potentially able to open things up at any point. That's the kind of a game that the Colts want to run. And I don't think that is going to be very difficult for them to assert in this game versus the Jaguars. So I am comfortable starting both Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor in this game. Marlon Mack is probably the safer play because he's going to start this game and Jonathan Taylor will take over and spell him at times. But Jonathan Taylor is an absolute lightning bolt in a bottle, and even given 5 touches in this game, could still make his fantasy debut worth noting because of his ability to create massive breakaway runs. I mean, you could break away kind of like Derrick Henry does every time he plays the Jaguars. We could see a very similar run from Jonathan Taylor. So if you have to choose between the two, it's a tough call. I'd probably go Marlon Mack just for the safety of knowing that he's going to get guaranteed touches as long as he doesn't get hurt. Jonathan Taylor, though, could explode, and you could very much regret having him on your bench. So find a way to get both of these guys in your lineup if you can. This honestly might be the last week that we even think about starting Mack. If Jonathan Taylor just absolutely takes over that job after week 1, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, in terms of the pass catchers for this team, of course, you're going to start T.Y. Hilton. You drafted him to start him, and I think that he can still have a pretty good game. I am a huge fan of Parris Campbell this year, but I'm concerned that this is going to be a very run-heavy game, and there's not going to be a lot of passing volume here. So while I do like Parris Campbell, I'm probably going to wait and see what he can do this week before we throw him out in our lineup. And same thing for Jack Doyle. I think this will be, again, a very low pass volume game, so I'm not going to start Rivers. I'm trying to avoid his pass-catching options. Absolutely love the Colts defense in this one. The Colts defense could be the number 1 defense on the week. So, we're going to play the defense, play the run game, and try to avoid everything else. Now on the Jaguars side, expecting the Colts defense to be as good as we're expecting them to be, and the fact that the Jaguars are just kind of a dumpster fire of a team, probably going to avoid Gardner Minshew in this one. I do think you can throw Chris Thompson out there in a decent start. Chris Thompson, another one of those guys, a bit older, someone that has produced a lot in PPR, especially early on in the year while healthy. I think there's going to be plenty of garbage time in this game, and Chris Thompson could end up getting like 5-6 receptions in the last couple drives of the game, just getting those constant checkdowns as they're going deep. And I think DJ Chark can still find a way to eke out a pretty good performance in this one. If you absolutely need a spot start, you can try Tyler Eifert. He's been getting a lot of praise in camp and could actually end up getting used a lot in this team. But overall, I'm trying to avoid Jaguars in this one outside of Thompson and Chark. I like Shenault a lot. I think that Shenault will probably be pretty involved in this team at some point in the season, but probably going to want to avoid trying to throw him out there in week 1 in a game that we think the Colts could very easily handle this one on the ground. James Robinson is interesting. Okay, so Raekwon Armstead on the COVID list and Divine Ozigbo getting thrown to IR. They go and sign Daria Gumbawale, who I doubt will have a role early on in the season. James Robinson is going to be the leading running back on this team. But for a game that we're not expecting the Jaguars to have any semblance of control over, how much are they going to be running the ball? When they're passing the ball to the receiver or to the running back, it's going to be going to Chris Thompson. I think James Robinson's floor is very low and his ceiling is probably not that high either. So I'm comfortable keeping him on my bench and stashing him and see what he can do in week 1. If he surprises me, great. But I'm not going to throw him out there in my starting lineup week 1. And I don't think there's really going to be any point this year that you're going to be comfortable starting the Jags defense. So based on the way I've been talking, you can probably guess how I expect this one is going to go. Colts are going to dominate this one. I got them winning by 11. Colts 21, Jaguars 10 is my prediction for this game.